Let me first go across on the phone line to Mr. Mahesh Jethmalani. Mr. Jethmalani, a huge thank you and many congratulations to you. Another feather in your cap in this case as we are getting this victory. And sir, I've seen this in this case 2 to 3 times you appeared before this court. It was your gut instinct. It was you who stated that there should be this case being fought in the Calcutta High Court. You've gone through this order. The judge is very clear. There were no comments that were made. There was a certain condemnation that was clearly done in this case by Arnab when this started. It's crystal clear when she's writing this 23-page judgment that on all aspects there was absolutely no reason why any enmity could be created between communities. This is the big win for Team Republican Arnab, sir, in the Calcutta High Court.
Well, Vidham, all I can say is that the clearest inference of the judgment is that this was a completely false case, right? And it was misconceived. It should never have, no FIR should ever have been lodged. No FIR should ever have been lodged. And, all I can say is that justice was meted out appropriately. The judge may not have said in so many words that, but she certainly said that there was absolutely no case. But she may not have said that this was actually malified. But in fact, this was, in my view, a politically malified commencement of an investigation and attempted prosecution which failed. Thanks to the High Court judge. And we should be grateful that we have judges like that to protect the freedom of the press.
Mr. Jethmalani, I just want to go across to the words, and I think one of the most clear things that has been stated by the judge in this case is, I feel, of course, that the ingredients of 153A have not been made out. Mr. Jethmalani, at one point, she also says that if any apology needs to be made, it needs to be made by the panelist. But it's very, very clear, very, very in several paragraphs that she says Arnab did not encourage the statements. He condemned the act not once but several times. It is for the panelist to issue the apology. He condemned this opinion. On a larger scale, sir, you've seen a victory on a similar fashion in the Karnataka High Court. You've seen in the Rajasthan High Court where you fought the case for us. It's time that free speech of journalists is taken very importantly by state governments that are trying to muzzle the voice of free press, and especially Republic and the Mamata government. In fact, I want to ask you, what was your opinion when were you surprised that the Attorney General was fighting so hard for a case that was so amateur, according to you?
Well, I don't want to make any comments on a officer, a high-ranking officer, a constitutional authority like the Advocate General. This was not the Attorney General; it was the State Advocate General. But the less said, the better. It was a case, as I said, that was misconceived, and any attempt at defending it, therefore, would also be totally, singularly misconceived. The judgment speaks for itself. And I don't think it was, as I said, it was always a political case. Arnab, on the contrary, had condemned the comments that were made, as you pointed out, and it was just a needless harassment to try and keep somebody busy in the courts.
And sir, it's not only this, but you're absolutely right. It's needless harassment. In fact, I remember. I beg your pardon. I remember when this case hearing was happening, Mr. Jethmalani, in this case, when the AG had started making the arguments, a rather strange argument was made that when we gave out the condemnation in a big paragraph, even on the social handle now called X, that was earlier Twitter, the fact that we had put out the earlier words that were stated on the live telecast was being seen as some sort of pressure by us, not realizing our bona fides.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, what was actually a note of condemnation was misconstrued as an attempt at trying to amplify the insults that were made by one of your panelists. A highly condemnable statement which he made, which Republic and Arnab Goswami roundly condemned both during the show and subsequently. I think we ought to leave it at that. Let the judgment speak for itself, It was a misconceived judgment, as I said. It was a malified judgment, and the judge has dealt with it appropriately.
Okay. My last question to you, sir. This is a case that you fought. It was your gut instinct that you said that, we need to finish this up. I think the words of the Calcutta High Court ring very true that 153A has not been made out. Very clearly, she says several times over that Arnab condemned the panelist whenever these comments were made, and Arnab never encouraged the statements, nor did he permit the discussion to continue. What, according to you, when you were making this argument in the court, led to the tipping point in our favor?
I don't think there was any tipping point, Rhythm. I think the case was an absurd case. I mean, there was an anchor who was accused of being party to a statement made by somebody on the spur of the moment, a completely vile statement, a statement that should not have been made by any decent person, a statement that was purely divisive on his part, right? It was defamatory of a community, and the anchor condemned it. But just to go after the anchor because the anchor has a particular political view, right? He was prosecuted, and that is characteristic of the government in power in West Bengal, right? It's all now. This is a very common pattern. There have been so many cases against so many personalities. Many cases have been filed against Arnab Goswami, Republic Bharat, and Republic itself. But there have been many misconceived cases by Mamata Banerjee's government. So it's a pattern. It's a well now weaved pattern, right? Anybody who's against the government is somehow it is actually one of the most intolerant fascist governments of this country.
Absolutely. I think it's completely intolerant of the Mamata government, or even the earlier governments in Rajasthan, the present government in Karnataka, when they file cases against the network or against our editor-in-chief, Mr. Jethmalani, only on whims and fancies, trying to think that they can knock on the doors of the judiciary to try and wield political influence. Do they not realize by now that the courts will stand for free speech?
Well, so I don't think they care about what the courts think. I think that they're going to do whatever they think is needed, right, to harass and persecute people whose opinions hurt them, right? They are completely intolerant people, right? So just let's leave it at that. I have, as you know, I'm not in the country at the moment. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. Thank you, sir. I hope you continue having a good time wherever you are. Thank you for this victory. And we continue celebrating this because, like we always say at Republic, this is not only a victory for Team Republic, but this is a victory for media. Cases such as this become case law. They become precedents. They become something that we continue watching.